of these people got the holes in the tank. See what's happening here.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Before we hit, just before we get into Baton Rouge. I mean, this is one of the reasons why, other than it's just ridiculous to be that inconsiderate, but this is one of the reasons why I was trying to, you know, expedite things at the pump, man. It's rush hour. The later we wait until it's hours past rush hour, then the more of this you get. So it is 5:05 right now. This is just rush hour. Well, I don't know if it's an accident or anything, but this is anticipated. It's 5 o'clock. Hey. It's 5 o'clock in Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge. I wonder how Louisiana people say Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge.
temporary floors, bedding, and flat screen TVs that are totally
This is
on
actually the
fleek.
correct lane to
Plus,
be
their
in
prices
if you
are
want to
always
continue
low
on 10.
AF. I'm Tom
Quote, unquote,
Odette, and we'll
correct.
keep it lit for
But that's
you.
why it's
Book
moving the
online at
slowest.
motel6.com.
The lane to the right runs out.
Q106.5
You exit and then it continues to
Right
go
now,
on
traffic
10,
brought to you
but
by Robert Half. Look out for
it
accidents
ends.
on East Circuit Streets, Washington at
You
Port
have to merge
26.
into this lane.
Plug at Nicholson, Airline
And the
at
left lane is for
Manhattan,
going the
at
other
Sharp.
way.
Delays to eastbound from LA 1 to Perkins, 12
But
eastbound from
people
Essen to
wait till the
Millerville,
last
110
minute to come
southbound
over and get
Florida,
in this
2 to
lane.
110 split. Tonight's forecast calls for a low of
So,
70 under mostly cloudy skies.
that's why
I'm
the
at
correct
Robinson with
lane
right now traffic
gets
on
it.
Q106.5.
Everybody
Sponsored by
abuses.
Burlington. It's the summer of savings at Burlington
Everybody
stores.
abuses
Hurry into Burlington today
the
for the
people
best
who are
selection
in
of
the correct
dresses,
lane.
shorts, tanks, tees, and swimsuits for the family. Burlington.
You only got a
Style
small
for
percentage
everyone.
of people
Accident
in the left or the right lane
9258000.
who actually
It's just
are
that easy.
unaware
Attorney Morris Bart.
of what's going on.
The Highlander with Toyota
But the
Safety
a lot-
Sense
half
standard
of
is
them,
perfect for a guy
or
like my
more than
dad,
half,
who is
actually,
always trying to keep me
use the
safe.
right lane to the end and the left
And
lane
it's
to
also
the end.
perfect
They
for a
already
girl
know
like
what
me
they're doing.
because while he's busy being my
intentional, you know what I'm
watchdog,
saying?
I'm busy daydreaming in the back
Kind
seat.
of crazy.
It comes
But,
with things
you know,
like pedestrian
you're
detection.
talking about-
So in case Bigfoot decides to step in front of us,
See,
he'll
it's
be
about the
okay.
mindset and attitude of
Plus, it has
majority
lane
of the
departure alert, so we
country.
won't bump into any of
Well, at
the other
least half of the
spaceships on the
country.
road.
So it's just something that you're gonna have to
And
deal
it
with.
has automatic high beams.
That's
So
never
should
gonna
any
be
scary monsters try to find us in
straightened
the
out
dark, we'll see
because
them.
you're never gonna have.
Now, if only there was a feature that could finish my homework.
But you're never gonna have.
Right now, qualified buyers get
Most
1.9% APR financing for 60 months on a
operate,
2017
you know,
Highlander.
at that level.
Toyota. Let's go places.
Just gonna sit in the
Drivers should
correct
always be
lane,
responsible for
knowing
their
that
own
other
safe
people gonna
driving,
cut them
depending
off.
on the conditions of the roads, vehicles, weather, etc. The system
I
may
ain't
not
even
work.
saying that I do it all the time.
For details, offers
Or
available
will
for
do it
states and in
every time.
7517.
But
Working at a casino is
most
great.
cases I
It
try
means
to
I get to meet a lot of interesting
humble
people and have
myself
fun at my
and just
job. It
be
also
patient
means I'm
and be in the
exposed to more
correct lane.
secondhand smoke at work than
try
most
to.
people. In East
But
Baton
you can
Rouge
imagine
Parish,
it's
bar
very
casino
tempting
employees,
because you know all of these other
including
people are just
musicians and
gonna
entertainers, are not protected
abuse you
from
sitting there,
secondhand
so it's
smoke
very
like other
tempting
workers
to do the
are.
exact
I
same
should
thing.
have a between my health and a
So
paycheck.
there you go.
Everyone
You know,
deserves to breathe smoke in the air at
Stop.
work. To learn
Hey,
more,
hey,
visit
snuck back out there. Come here.
smokeFreeEDR.org.
Come here.
Baton Rouge Community
Down here.
College's second summer session
Lay down.
begins Monday, July 3rd. Registration is open now through Thursday, June 29th. The RCC is a fully accredited institution offering an affordable education with flexible classes to fit around your busy schedule. Visit www.mybrcc.edu to see a full list of available courses and to register. Or call 1-866-217-9823 for info and to discuss financial aid options. Baton Rouge Community College. Imagine what you can do.
Get your 4th of July party started at the Home Depot's Red, White, and Blue Savings Event. Right now, you can save up to 40% on appliance special buys.
It's interesting and very tricky.
French door.
I guess I should cut the radio off and mess around. I'm not gonna be able to use the doggone audio. The amount of distance you leave between you and the car in front of you, it's gonna vary with the speed you're going. And you know, you can argue on both sides of the coin. Of course you want to leave a cushion, but if you're barely moving, doesn't matter a whole lot as far as being concerned with hitting somebody. But another reason for the cushion is, like, this right lane, well, at this point, you know, you suppose should be where you need to be. But like at the earlier stage, that right lane is people just now getting on to 10. And so if they want to be in the left lane so they can go the other direction, what is it, 110? Then the only way they can get in there is to, you know, get in the middle lane to get to the left lane. So leaving that gap allows them to actually be able to get out that right lane and get over. Now they, instead of fighting two lanes, they only have to worry about getting in on the left lane. So that's one reason. I like to leave at least a couple of cars left or whatever. But that's why I said it's tricky, because if you leave too much space, then it's an open invitation. And first of all, people are going to target that space. So the whole line of traffic that's coming up is going to try to jump. And that, you know, you can't afford to do that, because you'll never move forward. You know what I'm saying? But also, once, I mean, you'll have people just jumping back and forth. as soon as the one lane seems to be moving faster, then they'll jump out of that lane and jump back in front of you. So they'll just move willy-nilly if you leave too much space. I don't know.
Be in either of the two right lanes.
If you don't get it now from me, well, if you've driven on the highway, you should know what I'm talking about. But if you don't get it, don't worry about it. By me saying it, plant that seed in your mind, when you see it firsthand, then it'll register, oh, that's what he's talking about. But yeah, so it's interesting, and it is like chess. Driving on the highway, if you're trying to be strategic and defensive drive. See all the people getting over? Or you might not be able to see them because of the truck. Oh, well, if you look up there further, well, you're not going to be able to see them looking up there further. But anyway, yeah, same thing as driving with the highway, you're always reading the traffic and reading not only how you would respond to certain things that might happen in front of you, but you also thinking about how other people around might respond based on how you see them driving, and then how you would respond to them. I know it sounds like, man, that's too much. You're doing too much driving, but I'm telling you, really, it's not. It ain't as long and drawn. Is that I look at it and know that I'm looking at it that way already. So, not necessarily that at every moment I'm making what I believe is the best move because of all of that thinking. Is that I build up a database to pull from based on the situations that I see. And so the first time I see it, it's like I'm storing some information. I might not make the best move then, but I'm storing information about what I'm observing and what my move was and whether it was good or bad. And that might not stick the first time. But this is the thing, I'm intentional about it. The second time I'm observing what's going on. And if it's worthy, I'm gonna try to make a mental note about it. You see, that's where it really registers. I'm gonna make a mental note about it, and that's stored. The third time, see how this works? It's like it takes for you to encounter a similar or same type of scenario several times. And if you've been intentional about absorbing what you've learned from that scenario, then it comes a point in which it all sticks. And so now your intentionality about observing a highway, just as if you was playing a game of chess, and now your intentionality about being observant starts to pay off, because you don't really have to think about it to have an idea of how first tier people would respond, how they're going to behave, and you don't really have to think about it when you are directly looking at people you're driving around are going to behave and negotiate certain traffic situations. It comes like almost automatically because you've been observing it for so long, and you've encountered that situation several times, or those types of driving behaviors several times in those similar situations. So now you got a good idea, not even idea, you got a good bank of information based on experience that you can draw from to make an immediate assessment. And I'm not talking about a conscious and intentional assessment. It's just automatic. That's what I'm saying. That's where it becomes, very useful and powerful. And people might not look at it in that way and think about it to that degree, but that's why companies favor experience. That's what experience is, just going through it that way. I'm just breaking it down. I'm just breaking the experience down. That's all I'm doing, is I'm breaking what experience is down. Because, like for me, I do it intentionally. But because of the magnificence of your mind, everybody does it to a certain degree. But my point is to cause you to pay attention to it intentionally, so that the information and the lessons you learn from that sticks at an earlier point in time. You see what I'm saying? And that's with anything else. The more intentional you are, say you put a CD. That's how old I am. Say you put a CD player, or you have an MP3 going in your audio system that's teaching you a language. If you just got the thing playing in the background and you're not really paying much attention to it, there's no telling how long it's going to take for any of it to stick, if any of it ever does stick. However, if you have the same person have that same audio in the background, and you have a goal to learn how to speak that language in 2 months, maybe because you're about to go on this trip to the country in which they speak that language primarily, you're going to learn a lot more of that language. You see what I'm saying? So intentionality makes a difference in how quickly you're able to improve on any skill. And then being consciously aware of how to make better progress, that helps you as well. And a lot of people just don't realize, you know, you don't even understand, some people don't even understand the concept of it being intentional, or why is it beneficial. And I'm just hoping that I might have helped somebody get a better understanding of what being intentional is and why it's powerful. Because, now why am I spending all this time on that when that's not the title of the video? Because the same thing is true with being effective at parenting, taking care of your health, saving money. It's the difference between just having a vague idea of something you want to turn out a certain way. Is the difference in that and having a specific goal. If you have the specific goal, then it's easier to be intentional. Well, that's intentional, but that ain't even, you know, I mean, we're gonna get into another subject matter in a minute, but if you have a specific goal, then now it's more of a conscious thing, and it's more defined what it is you're actually trying to do, and hopefully it will mess around and cause you to actually think about some of the steps that you should take in order to move closer to that goal. And now, if you have those steps, then hopefully there are going to be some things that you do intentionally in order to reach the goal. You see what I mean? But you'll never get to that point, theoretically speaking and generally speaking. You never get to that point if you're not intentional about all of this. So there you go. I'm not going to keep on belaboring the point. You know, that's my dissertation. When actually I did not start off with the intention of doing all of that. But as it so often happens, once I got started, I wanted to go further and further and further. Then I said, I can actually turn this into something. I can find a way to pass this time. I can get y'all to look at this whole video all the way until I get on I-10 and get something out of it that you might be able to use beyond trucking, beyond the psychology of driving, because that's what it is, the psychology of driving. And it's going to help me to pass the time quicker as well. You see? Yeah, interesting, no? See, these are good people. These are good people. Thank you for well, I appreciate it so much. I wish somebody needed to invent, well, it probably already exists, but I need an electronic hand sign in the back of my trailer that allows me to put a thumbs up, to put a wave, to what else? Thumbs down. Something like and dislike. Of course, that's going to be labeled as a distraction. Now, you know, I can tell you right now, the left lane is the best lane to be in. Well, you know, actually, not necessarily, because everybody's going to get in the left lane. I mean, it's really, at this point, when it's stop and go like this, it's like a toss-up. One day the left lane might be better, another day not so much. Some days the right lane is better because people are exiting. But it's really all timing. At this point, this stage of the game, watch how I'm just gonna stay right here and let it work out as it will. 5:30 right now, 5:30 in Baton Rouge. Wait, are we in Baton Rouge or Hammond? Yeah, we're in Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge. Big up to Michael, driving for PTL. Just met him down there in Working the weekend. This guy is the guy most similar, truck driver most similar to me that I've ever, the second truck driver I've met most similar to me out of the years I've been driving. He got all of these things that he wants to do, and he's working toward it. Different things, music, studying the internet, want to start a store, wants to build well. Of course, he wants to get into all of this stuff, and I've already done all of this stuff. So hopefully, I'll be mentoring him. Well, he's already said that basically he's gonna be calling on me. He wants to be mentored. But big up to Michael. Phone just ringing. Of course, we're not messing with the phone. Even in stop and go, well, this ain't even stop and go, but FYI, even in stop and go traffic, you're still not legal in messing with the phone in a commercial vehicle. They need to pass that for all vehicles. I don't even do it in my car. What's the time I did? As I step back and come to terms with the fact that, yes, indeed, it does put you at higher risk of not being able to respond adequately to a change in conditions on the interstate. It does limit your ability to react. So, taking that into account. Like right now, if I was looking down to my phone or texting or whatever, looking down at the phone, and then I might have missed those brake lights, the traffic stopping abruptly just for a couple of seconds. And depending on how close I was following this car up ahead of me, that's all it would have taken. Now, keep in mind, we're in the big truck, so I can see beyond the car just in front of me. If I'm in another four-wheeler, you can't hardly see nothing but the car directly in front of you. See what I mean? So actually, these laws should have passed for four-wheelers before they did for big truck drivers. That's a toss-up, depending on how you look at it. Four-wheelers don't drive as many miles as truck drivers, so if we do it just by using mathematics, you might say, I mean, I haven't done the mathematics, we can use statistics, but I don't have the statistics. But I can see it being the case that statistically speaking, you take a truck driver that's driving 600 miles and you take a car that's going to drive 60 miles, and maybe, because you still got to take into account that the truck driver is supposed to be quote unquote a professional, so maybe he's more attentive, maybe he's more he or she is more observant. No feminists have a fit. I'm not using, you know what I'm saying, I'm not how you call it, being gender discriminatory by saying he or whatever you would call it. I'm not using it to define a gender. I'm just saying he, because that's just how we're used to speaking instead of saying they, which I know now is acceptable to keep from specifying one gender or the other. People, it's been made acceptable to just say they, and even though you're referring to, well, I am referring to either or both, I guess. So in this case, maybe it's actually correct. But anyway, why do we get into all of that? I don't know. What am I doing? Am I trying to, is it coffee? I did drink a little bit of coffee.
In 1 mile, keep left to I-12 East.
At the stop, not at the Tiger Fuel stop, but I stopped at the Pilot and let Courtney out. and to get that coffee actually, because I put 2 shots. If I'm gonna drink coffee, I put 2 shots in the coffee, and what am I doing here? I put 2 shots in the coffee, and I put ice in it. So at this point, I think the left lane would be better. Let me grab that joker. I put two shots in the coffee, and I put ice in the coffee. See, so I put 2 shots in the coffee, and I put very little coffee, and then I fill it up with ice. Why? Because I don't want to drink that much coffee, and I don't want to sip it. I want to be able to drink it whenever I want to drink it. So there you go. So to keep from drinking a lot of coffee, drink more water than coffee, I fill it up with ice, and it's not hot, and I still get the caffeine, even though it's watered down coffee. You see how that works? Anyway, so that's my coffee hack. I think I'm gonna do a hack video. I am really talking a lot. But you see how this left lane, like I said, everybody gonna jump in the left lane. So it's kind of a toss up. Still, I'd rather just be over here and sit over here. And the only thing I'm really dealing with is people jumping out of my lane to get in the other 2 lanes to the right, because they wait till the last minute to get into 10. But if I was in the lane to the right,
be in any of the 3 left lanes.
then you got people waiting till the last minute to jump over. I don't feel like dealing with that today. So that's why I get into this lane and I just chill here. And we just get backed up because of people jumping in until we get on after the split. Like I said, man, it's chess, man. It's chess. See, that's why it's going to evens out some, because now the middle lane will fill up a little bit as it's moving faster than people that's in the left lane and jump over to the. That's truck driving. He waited until the last minute to get over. Or maybe he thought about it. I've done that before too. Maybe he thought about it last minute. Wait a minute. I'm not supposed to be getting over here. That was last trip. I forgot I'm going to New Orleans. That happens. Yeah. That happens. Well, y'all, you know, let me see. I was getting ready to say.
Continue on the road.
Get ready to say I'm gonna cut it off, stop talking, turn on the radio. Now stop. Hey, come here. Get down here. I'm looking at the traffic. Don't worry, I'm not looking at it all. And you can tell by my response to the brake lights. Hey, get down here. Come here. Get down. Get down. Oh, back to the. Oh, it don't matter. The point was made with the cell thing and distraction thing and all of that. You got to learn to use your peripheral vision. You see that heartland? So where do we get to? Nowhere. That's why I said it's a toss-up. It's all in how you want to do it really that particular day. You want to play with what's going to happen in the middle lane, or do you want to play with what's going to happen in the left lane? And don't take me using the term play literally. And obviously, I'm figuratively speaking. That's something I can mention real quick. Man, does it bother anybody else that people have begun to use the word literally wrong and it's acceptable now? Like literally means the opposite of figuratively. Figuratively, I don't know how to explain it. Figuratively means not really. Oh, figuratively speaking means the usage of exaggeration to illustrate a point. Literally is supposed to mean actual. I literally cut my finger trying to chop the onion quickly. Nowadays, people will say that mean and by no means are they trying to say they actually cut their finger. They'll just, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know what happened. But they'll say, I literally almost cut my finger. I chopped that onion so fast. They'll say something like that, and that's dumb. That's not the way you use the word literally. So if you wanted to say something, you could say, man, Okay, so maybe you nick your finger, right? You could say, I chopped my finger cutting up that onion so fast. I chopped my finger, well, you'll say, I chopped my finger off cutting that onion so fast. And you know you didn't really chop your finger off, you're figuratively speaking. It might have even been a nasty cut, but you didn't chop your finger off. So, but people these days will say, I literally cut my finger off trying to chop that onion fast. And all they did was cut their finger. They didn't really cut their finger off. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's a good example. That's not how you use literally. So, just for anybody who cares and would actually like to use it correctly, that's not how you use literally. So in that case, you would just say, I almost chopped. You could just say, I chopped my. You would say, I almost chopped my finger off. I was cutting that onion so fast. That's how you say it. You don't say, I literally chopped my finger off cutting the onion so fast. If you want to add one of the words in there, you would say, I figuratively chopped my finger off. You wouldn't say I literally chopped my finger off cutting the onion so fast. Alright, y'all, I'm going for real now. This is and boy, I look forward to seeing the comments on this one. Yep, I look forward to seeing the comments on this one. But I'm going for real now. Let's listen to the radio. Not you, me. Because I can't put that on YouTube.
Eat 'em. KFC is extra crispy good. Pricing and participation may vary. Tax and substitutions extra.
Q106.5 traffic report.
Right now, traffic brought to you by Burlington. Look out for accidents on East Surface Streets, North Mall near Seagan, Bluebonnet at Airline, East State at Highland, Lobdell at Goodwood, Florida at South Sherwood. On the Interstates 10 westbound near Acadian, and also look out for a fender bender north at North 26th. Be mindful of a stalled vehicle Highway 19 near Levy, and delays 10 eastbound from LA1 to Perkins, 12 eastbound Essen to Millerville, 110 southbound Florida, 2 to 10-110 split. Tonight's forecast calls for a low of 70 under mostly cloudy skies. I'm Ed Robinson with Right Now Traffic on Q106.5.
Sponsored by Burlington.
I'm just glad it's not raining. I'll have an hour and 10 minutes left on my clock before I have to take the 30-minute break. Another reason why I was trying to expedite matters when I was getting fuel, you know, all of these things. So I need to make it through, which I should be able to make it through. I need to make it through Baton Rouge and have a nice place. I don't like stopping in the middle of a city or a high traffic area. I don't like pulling off there and then have to get back on the highway. So I would like to get as far east as I can and then pull over to take my 30-minute break. And you know, I didn't want to have to be pressured to stop somewhere. So obviously, I'm trying to get in and out of the truck stop. Clock burning up. This guy just sitting there at the pump. Y'all see what happened was, I don't think I ever explained myself. I was going in to make sure that the pumps worked, for one thing, because I seen one block off and I seen 3 trucks there without pumping. But when I got out to go up there and go inside, then I saw the guy I saw that somebody was in the truck to the right. And so then I started walking to that truck. And I got over there. He's standing up. He wasn't in the seat no more. He's standing up in the middle doing something. And he's on the phone. And he probably was on the phone the whole time, but he's on the phone. And so I asked him, I was like, hey man, is the pump working? He says, I don't know. I haven't pumped yet. I'm like, what? I'm like, what are you doing sitting here? What are you doing? And because you saw how long we were sitting there. He's just sitting there on the phone and hadn't pumped the fuel. Now, hey, I might be wrong. Maybe, just maybe, he was trying to get authorization to get fuel. I don't know, but it looks like the owner-operated truck to me. But he could have been driving for an owner-operator. I don't know. But I just asked the question, what are you doing? And I don't even know what he said. Because I just, he's on the phone. I saw he was on the phone. But I just walked off and went to the store. I said, okay, let me check and see what, I'm gonna give him a little time here. Because probably he's seen me getting out of the truck and he decide, okay, yeah, I need to get fuel. But anyway, so I head up into the truck stop to see if the other guy, well, like I said, still I want to make sure that the doggone pumps even work before I sit there doing all that waiting. But since I got to go in, of course I'm going to see is the other guy anywhere around and has he pumped? Because based on the answer, then instead of being in the middle, which I was parked like that so I can go to either one, then I will go ahead and pull behind one pump or the other. You see what I mean? But while I was in, the guy heard me asking, I think, and about the pumps. And when I come back, and then I said, oh, the guy was at the counter. I said, well, are you the guy that's at the pump, the first pump? He's like, nah, not me. And then nobody said, I said, is anybody is driving the truck that's at the pump, number 9? Nobody said anything. When I came outside, of course, you might have seen it, maybe you didn't. The guy was getting in, started up the truck, and pulled out. So that's what happened there. For those of you who stuck around to the end of the video, yeah, that's my thank you to you for sticking around. And now we're going to cut it off and put the radio on.
The GED Pep Talk Center. We've got a range of pep talkers standing by. Call 1-877-38-YOUR-GED or visit yourged.org and find free classes in your area. GED is a registered trademark of the American Council on Education. Brought to you by Dollar General Literacy. Transmission is ahead.
So let me ask you this. So was that reasonable in your opinion? Or was that impatient? Now you heard everything about the situation. But let me stop influencing your opinion. Well, you heard the situation, you heard how I responded. Let me know if you thought that was reasonable, a reasonable response on my part, or should I have just sat there being a quote-unquote nice guy and being patient and waiting as long as it took? Let me hear your response. It ain't gonna change nothing. As far as my behavior, I mean, I didn't go up there and pull the guy out of the truck. I think I had a measured, controlled response. You see, I just asked him a simple question too, and I didn't further badger him or curse him out or nothing like that. I just let him know. Actually, if he would have got off the phone, I was going to speak to him about being more mindful and considerate for other drivers, and I was going to ask him, had he ever waited for somebody to move from the pump and stuff like that. But he stayed on the phone the whole time, man. But anyway, that's what was on my mind after that evening. But anyway, now let me know your opinion. How would you have handled it? And do you think I overreacted or whatever? Now I'm going for real. Another thing about keeping your little distance and everything is if you can avoid the complete stops, like we just had to do, and keep rolling, then you also burn less fuel, and you also save some wear and tear on your brakes. Oh, let me give you this other nugget right here. Take notice if you haven't already noticed. You have a much better view of what's going on the highway when there are cars between you and the big truck that's in front of you. See what I mean? So if a big truck was in front of me, then I will be able to see less of what's going on in front of me than I do now with these 3 cars in front of me. So I know a lot of truck drivers, your objective is to, you want to ride so close on the bumper of that truck, you've seen it. You want to keep, and one of your main objectives is to keep any four-wheeler from getting in front of you, getting between you and the truck. Well, to me, it's good to have a few four-wheelers between you and the truck, because now you can keep your space with the four-wheeler a little more challenging than the big truck. You got to be more strategic. But now you can see more of the highway if it's four-wheelers in front of you instead of the big truck directly in front of you. So that's something to think about. You heard that from Crazy Trucker, lifeisatrucker.com, aka Herbie, lifeisatrucker.com, just in case you forgot. Now notice how I broke. Can you use the word in that way, referring to past tense of break? Anyway, notice how I slowed down early. I saw traffic almost at a complete halt, and I didn't pull up to him and then slow down and then come to a stop. I slowed down as soon as I saw that they was almost stopped, and then gradually approached. And of course, by the time I got to them, he was rolling again. So that's a driving style. That was intentional. That's a driving style. That's how I do it. You'll see. That's how I do it. Like if you watch my time-lapse videos, and you'll see stop and go traffic, and oftentimes you'll see that I never really, not never really, but you'll see traffic stopping and going all around me, but you'll see me only stopping a little bit. I'm steadily moving. That's because of my driving style. You see that? Because I'm looking far ahead. That's why I don't want the truck directly in front of me.